What's up? Ready to draw today? All right. I spent this weekend getting my studio reorganized because it was time. And we have the house all to ourselves again. So I'm going to definitely, 100%, I mean it this time, be streaming more. Okay? Promise. Let me get the chat big. All right. And I think I got my camera all set up to where it'll show up well. I got another adjustable table. I'll post a photo of my new setup online. All right. I think that shows up. What are we going to draw? We're going to draw something easy. Something Comics Gate. Or are we going to do Marvel and DC gayness? I think I want to draw. Let's draw Rick Rogers. I was supposed to be starting that like weeks ago, that is. I was going to do a collage that I was going to make into a video. So I think his pose is about like this. So let's go ahead and do that. His hand forward. Yeah. Been doing a lot of thinking. And gotta stream more regularly, obviously. And I've had people give me advice on like what to stream, and the name of my YouTube channel was stupid and too complicated, and I'll be honest, that's where my heart is. Reclaiming the archetypes. So I think it might not be showing up too well, but it will. Let me do another adjustment because it is early morning and I got the sun reflecting off the garage. The brightness, the contrast, lower the contrast. Well, that was kind of good the way it was, huh? Maybe sharpness is killing it. Well, it just is what it is until I get the pencil. So anyway, we're going to go back to what, if he's going that way, maybe he'd be better like this. So this leg is forward and this leg is back. Because if it's the other way and you got this leg receding going back, but it's kind of covered up by the leg going forward, not cool. I mean, you can draw it and it can be correct. It just doesn't look that. It doesn't look as powerful as switching it. So we're switching it. Did you guys see what I put on Twitter last week? That I was going to be, by the end of next year, I'm going to be on the Mount Rushmore of Comicsgate. What do you guys think about that? Like right now, literally nobody knows who I am. I mean, a few people do. By and large, the kid's under the radar. Kind of put it out there, and it comes back, you know what I mean? Alright, so he's there, legs there, hips there, this leg here, leg there, knee there, calf, ankle, foot. Alright, so I got a good gesture. Looks like we might need to bump his head over this way. So yeah, I'm still doing layouts for the last 30 pages of Graveyard Shift Omega Storm. And the last 30 pages are going to be an order of magnitude easier to draw because it doesn't have like 3 teams on one page. So it's got some cool action scenes, some giant Kirby-esque monumental setting. So it's going to be fun and way easier. So I should be hitting the new year full stride. Like this year, started out with COVID, then moved. In the middle of the move, the mother-in-law passed away. And then right out of that is trying to get back in gear, which led into just the luck of the draw. It was time to do more layouts. So I don't feel like I've gained like 100% full total momentum this year. And also, off and on, been drinking on the weekends. And let me tell you that's just gonna slow any kind of momentum you got down. I'm just not a dude that can drink and get work done. I can get work done, but not to the degree that I want. I like being fast, right? And this book is dense, it's thick, and doesn't allow me to just grip and rip. I mean, drawing small figures just over and over and over. That's not a complaint. I like it. It's a skill that I've uh, long desired. I've long desired to draw an X-Men type book, and now I have it, right? And so hopefully all goes well, and John will name me as the next artist on Graveyard Shift. Like, it'd take me really fucking up big time for that to not happen, but you never know. Jim Lee could quit DC and say, "Hey, John Malin, I need a job." I'm sure John would probably hire Jim Lee over me. I wouldn't, but I get it. It's about making money. But yeah, so just drinking on weekends. I'm done with that. I went all of last year. I think I've talked about it a little bit before. All of last year, no drinking at all. And it was I was very happy with how the year turned out. It was very successful. So we're gonna finish this year strong as fuck. And next year, no drinking all year until the books are finished. Maybe um, New Year's of 2023, 2024. Maybe that's when we'll pop the top. But I like my mind in its natural state. I don't need any booze or weed or anything. I feel like when I'm in my regular mind, not dulled, not having my senses dulled down, I feel like, for the lack of a better word or description of that, I can bend reality to my will, right? And that makes it sound a little more epic than what it is, but I'm not, there's no self-destructive tendencies. Willpower is high. I feel good physically. So there's very few like, fuck it, I don't feel like drawing today. There's none of that. Like we already went on a walk today, so I'm trying to get healthy. Like I said, I want to be on that Mount Rushmore. By the end of the year, I want people to be like, oh, okay, this motherfucker means business. Because I do. Want to build out with old Malin, build up his universe since he's already got one started. No need to reinvent the wheel. And, all goes well, we'll get progressively more collaborative. I'll get a little bit more input. And, build together. We'll let him handle all the fighting. Him out there making noise. I can do that sort of thing, but just the nature of my personality is if I start doing something like that, then I'm gonna go all in. And I'll be wasting hours. I'll be cutting videos and promos and all that stuff. And I just feel like my time is better served drawing. You know, there there kind of is infinite energy to be had, but why put it toward that, right? Why am I going to go out there and bitch about Lord of the Rings? My energy's better spent trying to make a Lord of the Rings or something that can take its place. Plus, like John and Ethan are so good at raising hell and muckraking. Like they got this Mark Brooks guy all twisted up. Poor fella. You don't know whether he's going or coming. Gotta gotta focus on my discipline, like in karate class. My parents put me in karate when I was in third grade, and this is in the '80s, so karate was just like you get in karate class, bro. I mean, you got it. Your rep is like cemented right there. You're not to be messed with. The first day of karate class, um, they had the advanced students were in there breaking boards, and I was like, I want to break a board, and he's like, no, 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 you're not ready. I was like, no, I want to try, I want to try, I want to try. And he's like, nah, kid, you're not ready. I was like, please let me break a board. And he was like, gonna make me into the lesson of the day. So he set it up, had the two piles of bricks and set the board across it, and I walked up. And I smashed down, and I smashed that board into a million pieces. And all the students were like, what? He's like, "Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's really cool." I was like, "Yep, told you I could do it." He's like, well, "How about this? You think you can break two boards?" I said, "I don't know. I think I can." And he's like, "Well, let's find out," because he didn't want to be made a fool of, right? So at this point, I'm powering down uh, his rep, right? I'm making him look like anybody can walk in off the street and do this. So he set up two boards, and I smashed those two boards into a billion pieces. And he's like, "Oh wow, so you sure you haven't done karate before?" And I was like, "No, no, never done any karate before. Just first time. I'm third grade, right? It's not like I've had all the time in the world. Um, in my what was it 7 or 8 years of existence in third grade to have traveled the globe and mastered karate." He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do one more board." I was like, "Okay, okay." So he put three boards across the pile of bricks, and I was like real nervous on this one. I walked up, took a deep breath, and I smashed through all three boards easily. I could see the look on his face. He was disappointed. He wasn't happy for me. He was disappointed in me. At this point, I'm going to end up teaching the class. So he's like, "Well, I don't want you to get hurt, but I kind of want to see if you can do four boards." Not sure how I want this foot planted. Kind of looks stupid. So his knee is here. By the way, hardest trick. Whatever direction the kneecap is facing is the direction the foot should be facing. Pro tip. Kind of want it small or narrow flipper foot. There we go. We'll see what this looks like silhouetted up. So, anyway, to make a long story short, um, we get up to 40 boards, right? And I crawl up this, they had a step ladder in class, and I crawl up to the top of this step ladder. And by this time, like, they're kids that are just like crying from what they're witnessing. I mean, they are just like, they're out of their minds crying so hard, so hard. And I jumped off the stepladder and I busted through 40 boards. I shit you not. 40 boards. The karate teacher slowly took off his black belt, dropped it on the floor, took off his his gi, threw it onto the floor, and he put on just a regular white t-shirt and walked out. And I turned to the class, and they're like, "How are you that strong? How can you break 40 boards?" And I told them, I was like, "It's not how strong you are. I didn't break those boards with my strength. I didn't break those boards with my fist. I didn't break those boards with the momentum from the top of that step ladder. Nope. I broke those boards with my mind." And I picked up the teacher's black belt. I took off my white belt. I dropped it onto the floor slowly. And I put the black belt on. And I cinched it. I tied the tightest knot you've ever seen in your life. And I left. I got in the car and I told my mom, I said, I'm not going back. She's like, oh no, what did he do? Did he touch you? What happened? I was like, I gave those students the only lesson they'll ever need in life. It all starts in the mind. I hope you all got something from that story. I don't tell it often. It's a bit embarrassing, actually. But, yeah. You have to believe in yourself. Alright, so we got that there. Alright, so now I'm at the point, this is like stock superhero, right? Superhero pose. My dog is over there digging. By the way, when dogs scratch around, they're running off the snakes. Right. I think tomorrow I give my review on the new Hellraiser movie. I'm in the middle of digesting it right now. Poor doggo. Handsome Rob. He's going to be 15 in February. It seems to be showing up all right. You know what? Let me zoom in on this. I'm also having trouble with the focus. So I might need to get my camera set up to where it's further away from the table. Because I feel like the closeness of it is what's causing a little bit of blurriness. It's the Brio. Or maybe it's just the lighting. Alright, get the blue line done. We can kind of speed up a little bit. Anyway, new Hellraiser. It makes me want to watch the original ones, which I watched not too long ago. I feel like there are so many movies that I watch and I just don't even really pay attention to them. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. Man, how cool is Mark Silvestri's previews of that Batman Joker thing? I kind of did a diss on it when it was first shown. Not his art or anything, just like, oh, okay, cool, another Joker story. But I don't know. Who the fuck am I, right? It's not like I'm on the Mount Rushmore of Comicsgate yet. Yet. Yeah, I don't want to change art styles midstream, but I tell you what, maybe the next book I might add some Silvestri type stuff in there. it's a fine line between looking like I'm just sloppy phoning it in and it looking really cool, right? Because he's got that going on. His stuff looks cool. It's sloppy, but on purpose. It's loose, not sloppy, loose, and it looks so freaking rad. And I 100% I could pull that off without a doubt. I just don't know if I would need to ink it. I don't want to hand Jimmy just like a million scritchy lines, and then he's like, it's all on him to decide which lines to ink and to make it look cool. It's leaving a little too much up to the inker, you know. Even though Jimmy likes Silvestri as much as I do, if not more, right? I don't know. We might have to do some test runs on it, but I like it. That Alfredo Alcala type inking that he did on Conan, or really any book he inked. So to make superheroes cool, right, you got to pinch the joints in a little bit. Blocky shoulders, blocky anatomy. Big, go to small. Adds like a dynamic to it, right? And so this fist is closer. So of course it's going to be bigger. This one back here is behind him. I like one of the rules that I kind of made up. When you're an advanced level artist, you get to make up your own rules for drawing. Is I like to think, can this character pick his own nose with his hand? Yeah. Obviously, the Hulk will never be able to do that. But all the other superheroes, I'd like to keep within that realm of he could get a booger out of his nose if he needed to. So, right, you got that one main, and you got another one right beside it. So the big one is toward the outside, and then the other one is like kind of right there. Did I get that fist right? Close enough. I could probably pinch up in here a little bit more. I was trying to pinch in on that waist, but I don't think so. Leg, knee, that big ass bone, the end of it. Kneecap is obviously down here somewheres. John Buscema feet. Flippers. I know John's into that kind of look. Duck bill feet. Lionel Yu, he does it. Elbow bone. One of the things John had me doing early on, he's like, draw more strands of hair, because Liefeld would always draw a shitload of twigs. So I still build my hair the same way, right? Overall chunks. And then after I have it voluminous, I can go add in the sprigs. Million little sprigs of hair. And then Jimmy gets to figure out what noodle to draw. Monday morning, bro. Ain't nobody up right now. It's the kid telling his kung fu stories. Either that or my pop-up chat ain't working. I like to think that everyone's just enthralled taking notes right now. Right. There we go. That's a little more like it. Get the curve on that shin. His boots. Get the, I don't know what that muscle's called. Goes into that little teardrop quad muscle. Back when I played basketball, like a lot, if I play a couple hours until my legs start cramping up, get home, drink a lot of water, all that. Wake up in the middle of the night, like, because when you roll over, you kind of push to the left or right, and that damn muscle right there would light me up, dude. It would cramp so bad sometimes. And when it feels like it's being ripped out of your leg. And calf muscles would cramp up quite a bit. Gym was like 90 degrees in the summer, no air conditioning. So hot you just have chills. Rick Rogers. He's an Omega Stormer. Right? Do the Omega Storm Cypress Hill rap. In draw his mouth. I think I'm gonna use a sketchbook and really try to tune in that 90s style mouth. That um, mouth's a little wide, not handsome enough. Anyway, the 90s style mouth that Rob and Jim and all those guys used. I'm liking how his eyes are looking there too. You need to square them up a little more. They're a little too squinty. Remember, you kind of like get caught drawing shorthand a little too much. Just remember, eyes are round, right? Draw the socket. Fix all y'all problems. Anyway, yeah. The classic 90s mouth with that underbite, overbite. The problem it gets me is like that shadow right here at the end of the mouth. Like, see? Gotta choke you in on that. Make the mouth a little smaller than it should be. to be able to shade it with that look. If it's wrong, but it looks right, it's right. If it's right and it looks wrong, then it's wrong. That's the lesson. I don't know where I heard that. It was like, I know it was a Wizard magazine or some online interview. It's like a John Romita Jr. or something. I think I got it. I think I got it. His eyes a little too far apart, a little too big. Yeah, that's what it was. Fixed. Definitely gotten better at drawing faces over the last year and a half. I'm also looking at Dan Dahl and Dale Keown and Rob Willis, getting influenced by all those dudes a little bit this year. The way Dan and Dale do the long form hatching. See, I tend to shade that and then pull up, pop, pop, pop. But you know, some long form cross hatching like this kind of does look cool. So I've tinkered around with it. It's okay to be influenced by others. Let go of your ego. That's probably why I get along with John better than anybody. I got ego as in I want my shit to look good. But I hear what you have to say. I consider a critique not a personal attack. I think a lot of people have problems seeing it like that. All critiques should be viewed. I'm gonna give you a reframe here, right? Don't consider it someone's bashing your work. Consider it a challenge, right? So if Joe Blow off the streets criticizing my art, I'm not gonna listen to that too much. But somebody like John, who's been a pro for longer than I have, he's about 4 years longer than I have. I'll listen to him. Plus, he made it to a higher level, right? He actually made it up to Marvel. I think I've told the story on here before. I was in line to get a Marvel job. It was going to be Long Shot Saves the Marvel Universe, I think was the name of the book. And Jordan White was going to hire me. And then I was still drawing Game of Thrones. It's like I was going to try to do both, because artists are mildly retarded and think they can do more than what they really can. Story of my life. Um, he came back and said that the rate committee decided that I wasn't Marvel quality, but the editor thought I was, right? So what gives there? Like he didn't have any pull? No. I dissed CB Cebulski a couple years earlier, or a year earlier. He was always tweeting about food. Like he's supposed to be going on these cons, like talent scouting talent, because that was his fucking job. And he was like insufferable with the food, like sushi, Pop Tarts, and stuff. And I was just like, oh my god, dude, just bilking Marvel out of that money. I don't know what kind of per diem he got, but he was fucking. He could barely fit in an elevator. He gave my red face a run for its money. Anyway, I said that if somebody put salt on a basketball, he would eat it. And he was the very first person I ever unfollowed on Twitter. I just couldn't handle it. He was too. I don't know. If I say fake, okay, the fucking mind, right? I'm the realist, bro. But yeah, I was an edgy asshole. And I think when it went up to the rate committee, he was like, "Oh, okay, salt on a basketball, fuck you, biatch." That's what I think happened. Or maybe I just wasn't good enough. Who the fuck knows? I was only a three-time New York Times bestseller at that point. The fourth trade hadn't hadn't arrived on the scene yet. Well, let me tell you, the getting jobs at the big two is so much networking. Always has been. And I know it's like everybody wants it to be idealized, like merit based. You know, if you're good enough, or if you're almost good enough, you got a little something to your art, you're gonna get a shot. But it's heavy on who you know. I mean, I did get the possibility of that gig via Ryan Stegman, who I was buddies with at the time. He hooked me up on that, and they said, "Nah." So, lesson learned. If you want to get a job at Marvel, don't blast the talent scout like I did. Tommy, you're just too hardcore. Telling you, man, I was a live wire on Twitter back in the day on my original account. Boring as fuck now. Busy drawing. I don't know about this one. I might have to work on this leg a little bit later. Anyway, we're almost done. Shade in the black part of his costume. But we all end up where we end up, right? I got no regrets. My only regret is the 2 years I took off from drawing in 17 and 18. But I'm back full power. And we're going to make something of ourselves this time. Hmm. Now that I get that all in, let's turn this upside down and find out what's wrong with it. So I like to do the cartoon style feet as placeholder. So that's kind of right. Hmm. Bigger. There. Getting there. We're getting there. We're almost there. Before I stream tomorrow, I'll probably walk back here and give it another look over and figure it out. It's okay to let your drawings rest, you know. Can't figure something out. They don't all have to be drawn in a day. Here's my thing, my technique. Stack. Stack them lines. Zigzag. Boot seam. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the knee. Square it up a little. And all through. Yeah. Could just black it out. See now here's where the competitive part of me kicks in, which is a good thing. We're gonna fix this fucking thing right now. It's bugging me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You know, might just be this. I need to bring the whole leg up. Right, so that's coming that way. One comes out here. See a little more of the front of the knee. Yeah, that's what we needed to do. Look at there. Get a little shading in there and test it out. Now chop it up a little bit, square it up. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it makes me want to change this one. It says I've been sitting too long. You believe that? My watch says I've been sitting too long. I'm standing up the whole time. Dumbass watch. Alright, I gotta get going on layouts. Enough of this. I don't know. I feel like I want that smaller though. Oh, so that would be about right there. What do you think? I think we end the stream. I'll figure it out later. I could pull up some reference. Maybe that's what I'll do. All right. Later.